It obtained court documents that state York used a prostitution website to arrange to have sex with a female in exchange for $140 at a local trailer park. The Cleveland Browns today named Deshaun Watson their starting quarterback. Watson today apologized for making critical comments about Browns fans after they booed him during their preseason game Saturday. NBA ESPN reports Portland Trailblazers guard Shaedon Sharpe sustained a torn meniscus in his knee and is expected to miss 6 months. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
Broadcasting live from the KGSO studios in West Wichita.
I feel more informed when I listen.
This is the Press Box on Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
The Press Box on KGSO.
Oh, gentlemen, welcome into the Press Box on 1410 93.9 KGSO. Here in the Renewal by Anderson Studios, expert installation done right on schedule, Jacob Zimmerman. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Check us out, kgso.com, the SC Wichita app. Oh my goodness, call us on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines. I should say just call me. Sasha Butker is out today, expecting his return to the show tomorrow. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I was maybe watching a little preseason in the NFL, catching a little UFC, just monitoring a little bit of baseball with this Royals 8-game win streak. We're going to lead out the show, talk a little bit about what that means. Guys, I want to talk about Harrison Butker and the absolute bomb he had in a preseason game from 69 yards out. We'll discuss that. Jalen Daniels, by the way, played in that contest and looked terrific. We'll talk about that. The NCAA. Man, I always have a bone to pick with you guys, it feels like, throughout this summer, last summer, NIL, transfer portal, NBA players going back to college. We have NFL players trying to go back to college as well. We'll maybe continue that train a little bit more as Lane Kiffin had some audio address in the media, and Dan Lanning, he's fed up with it as well. The Shockers are receiving some money to play Kentucky. That was in the news as well. You had some NFL news going on, like a trade. Kayshon Boutte got traded to the Texans today. Oh, my goodness. I didn't see that coming this close to the season. We are roughly a week and some change away. I'm going to go through, probably at 5 o'clock I'll do this. I'm going to go through my best season bets for this upcoming year. I'll hit on things like player props, maybe a couple of team futures overall, but mostly player and maybe not the usual bets you hear on a week-to-week basis. Guys, you just heard it in the top of the hour report there. What is going on with the 49ers owner, Jed York? I'll make time to discuss that just a little bit. Hannah Whetstone is going to be out today, of course. Hannah from Cake Sports. She's busy with some high school football preparation, but Jason Kinander up in Topeka with WIBW will come in and help me close things out. We'll talk a little bit about maybe Chubb retiring and his cancer I want to get to before the show is done. Shaedon Sharpe, you just heard, is going to be out 6 months potentially for the Portland Trailblazers with a torn meniscus. So it's sort of a loaded show here on a Monday. And of course, I want you to be part of it. What's on your mind heading into the season, whether it's high school football, college football, maybe you're a Chiefs fan, Cowboys fan, Broncos fan, in the gridiron level of the NFL. So of course, 522 1410. All right, I'll kick things off here. Talk a little bit of baseball on the diamond. Look, the Royals every once in a while show us, I've done this like the light at the end of the tunnel. They give us these occasional bright spots, and I try to celebrate them, right? I know there's the greater discussion of like, what does this mean for the overall season, and I can certainly have that chat. But an 8-game win streak is a rare feat. You even have successful playoff teams that aren't able to put together an 8-game win streak over the course of a 162 contest season. Look, man, I mean, the quality of competition was maybe not the highest, right? This started back in the third game of a 3-game contest with the LA Angels. Technically, this is 9 out of 10, 9-1 in the last 10 column. Always looks great. But then you beat up on the Athletics through a 4-game sweep. I hear it was the first 4-game sweep of the Royals season. Was not surprised to hear that whatsoever. And then you have AL Central foe in the Detroit Tigers. I still have said, look, these guys are kind of a little shocked post-trade deadline with Tara Skubal now on the Dodgers. But there was kind of an impressive pitching duel here in this one throughout the series. And look, I think it was good for the Royals to extend the win streak to 8. You certainly aren't going to mess around and try to drop contests this late into the season for any reason. But you're the Blue Jays staring in front of you here with the midweek contest starting 6:07 on Tuesday. I'm seeing Seth Lugo is good to pitch, so excited to see for what's to come with the Royals. Can we swell this streak to 11 in a row here? Right now standing at 8, but hey, you were still very far under 500, that being the mark. And of course the AL Central division, you're trailing big time there to the Chicago White Sox, who are 6 games over 500. Cleveland's in the mix. Minnesota's not out of it. Detroit has a sniff, but the wild card race, you've done yourself some damage at the beginning of the season, guys. This is why it stung for the fan base so much for this squad a week and some change ago to be 24 games under 500. Because you see the promise, right? Even with a couple of the key pitchers on this staff dinged up, you get some replacements. Noah Cameron looks to be turning into a high-quality player. Lugo's pitching once again. I think you can use these pieces and run with them. But to me, it's almost been more about the offense. I'll get into some numbers here about a few key players, but Pasquantino is one of them. He's off to a nice start. In Major League Baseball, I'm seeing about 33 to 35 games remain, depending on the squad, the rest of the regular season. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but in terms of probability and likelihood, I sort of am counting up the Royals for making a playoff push, but this is a sign for the future. But I don't know how many seasons in a row we need to keep saying the same song and dance of, oh, it's a great stretch here, it's a great stretch there, but in terms of really competing, we're a little bit of a ways out. All right, let's take this first call of the show. You are on the press box, joining us here on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines. Thanks for calling in. How are you?
Hey, Jay-Z.
What's up, Dakota?
So do you think they might sweep the Blue Jays or in Toronto?
There is a chance. I don't know what's going on with the Blue Jays this season. They are still not back to 500 yet. Vladimir Guerrero's just not had the season that he has hoped for at all. This was a team that was quite literally a few inches, one single out away from winning the 2025 World Series over a Dodgers team that just looks that much more unbeatable as of present day. I don't know what's going on necessarily with Toronto and the Blue Jays. Max Scherzer is set to go, so that's kind of a big name, although his season is not going according to plan whatsoever. He's just got a 1-6 record, Dakota, with a 7.40 ERA. So I think the Royals can perhaps take care of business there. But the offense is planted away. Then I'm not going to say it's a losing series. I'm not going to say it's a sweep. I would project that we win this 2 out of 1. It's likely that the streak comes to an end here this week.
Yeah, that's true. It's hard to sweep a series on the road.
Yeah, this win streak has been pretty much all at home so far.
Yeah.
At the K.
And my last question is for Sasha.
Sasha's out, but I can answer it for you.
Oh, okay. What do you think about the 69-yard field goal from Butker?
I'm about to get there, Dakota. I promise. I think that moment yes, it's in a preseason game, but it's a reminder of the era of kicking in pro football is beginning to flip on its head. I think there are some positives to it. I think there are some negatives I won't shy away from. But in terms of Harrison Butker and putting together what is a great career for a kicker, he's only making it better when I see kicks like that.
Yeah, I didn't even know Mahomes was hugging him.
Yeah, I think Mahomes came out from the sideline and gave him a big hug. So it's good to see the camaraderie and the chemistry hand in hand leading into the season. Dakota, I appreciate you giving me the call, man.
Will do.
Absolutely. 522-1410, 316 area code, of course, on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment hotlines. You can drop a comment here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Talking a little Kansas City sports here to kick off the press box on a Monday. I'll wrap up the Royals and then, get to Harrison at Butker's monster boot from the weekend. Like I said, you've got about a month and some change away. It's very tough for the Royals here with this 8-game win streak to continue to build momentum. Look, I could eat my words. I know Sasha's kind of probably seeing the same point of view with me as far as, certain fans are, starting to smell the roses a little bit with the playoff push, but you are still severely under the 500 mark, and I think it would take a miracle. It would take a Boston Red Sox level streak, and then maybe another 8-9 game win streak to get you there. Like we saw the Tigers do it, I think, 2 seasons back. Not impossible, but again, not likely. But of this win streak, guys, I like to celebrate the success. Day by day, as I'm doing the sports report, mentioning the Royals, we talk about them for a couple minutes here per day on the show. You got it done in different facets, right? You have a Sunday contest, you won this one in the shootout, right? 11-7, the offense leaving no doubt whatsoever. And you got a nice win from Schreiber, who gets his first win technically of the season there in relief. You had Lofton with a 4 RBI day. He has not really been one of those household Royal names. He has played in 19, 56, 67, and now 93 games here in 2026. Of course, those other numbers being the 23, 24, and 25 seasons here for the Royals' third baseman, Nick Lofton. But he's not necessarily been a guy who has lit up the score sheet. He does tally 40 RBIs this season. Excited to see that. But in terms of really bringing the power out there, the home run ball, he's not necessarily a huge threat, and he's one of those names that you want to have kind of continue with this momentum with a 2-run, 4 RBI day, going 3 for 4. And I think Kyle Isbell's right in the same conversation. He's now 29. He's been with this franchise. This is his 6th season. He's really kind of had 3 seasons under his belt as a close to full-time starter. And, it's kind of the same discussion I had with Lofton. You're not hitting the long ball great. Your average for a career is 238. We need to see some of these investments finally come to fruition with Kansas City. And, hey, we at least got him for a game both together there with Lofton and Isbell from the weekend. Caglione was out with ankle soreness. I'm not too worried about him. This season is what it is with Cags, and, well, he's having a great season despite the Royals' record. How about the Pasquatch? How about Vinny Pasquantino? I pulled up some numbers here. Of course, he had an injured hand. He's missed some time here or there, but his slash line this month looks great. A 3.85 batting average. On base, 45%. Slugging, 6.79. That's an OPS of 12.18 here this month for the Pasquatch, the Royals lefty first baseman. Good to see Vinny back and producing. I also heard that Salvador Perez had what was dubbed his first stolen base in years over the weekend that helped lead to one of the weekend wins. I mentioned, hey, you got wins. You picked up some wins here in this win streak in high-scoring affairs. Well, you got it done on the other end of the spectrum with the defense, a 3-1 final back on Saturday. The highlight photo here, this one, is, a Royals player getting decked out in the ice bucket, and that's always good to see. I'm seeing quite a bit of those thumbnails here throughout the last week. And Michael Wacha had a nice performance. 7 innings, 1 earned run, allowed just 1 walk and 3 hits. This was on Saturday. And Noah Cameron also had a gem back on Friday. We did not see Noah Cameron give us a shutout performance like he did not too long back. Noah Cameron has arguably been the best performing Royal here in the latter half of the summer. But Noah Cameron, back on Friday, he put up 5 innings, no earned runs, 3 walks. You'll take it to go along with 2 hits. Royals, once again, 58 and 74. A day off today, approaching the Blue Jays contest. And look, I'm seeing what's going around the American League right now in Major League Baseball. The Astros just fired their GM. They're in first place. I'm a little surprised to see that. Given I know the Astros are late season risers. They're playoff, annually. They're right in the mix. You got to respect them. And what Yordan Alvarez is doing, pretty much having already locked up the AL MVP from looking at some of these sports books from earlier this afternoon. So if you see this, if you're a Royals fan, if the Stros are willing to depart with people from their staff and they're having this kind of season, what are the Royals going to do moving forward, guys? I'm starting to get a little impatient here, as you hope this was going to be the season to take a step forward. Projection-wise, it wasn't. 2024, you lost in the ALDS to the Yankees, 3-1 series. That was a close series, by the way. You go 82 and 80 the next year, just right around mediocrity. And this season, you got a 44% win percentage. If it's up to me, if I was the one calling the shots, especially when you got a Bobby Witt. You got pitchers year in, year out who have talent. You got a riser like Caglione. Hey, man, I think Cochero probably does not see the 2027 season. That would be my move and, honestly, my prediction. All right, let's get to the Harrison Butker news, guys. A big-time kick from the preseason contest with the Bucks over the weekend. Changing subjects here. Harrison Butker, guys. The ball was on the 50 when this thing went through, and I think it probably would have gone from 75 plus. This has to have Chiefs fans oohing and awing over this. I'm looking here to Facebook. Devin going to get in a quick word before I go off here with Butker. Jed York, main story. 9 a.m. on a Sunday, only in Cleveland. Wow, was it that late at night, or did you wake up for that? And the scheduling with this website, those are some nasty details. I'll talk more about Jed York here later in the show, Devin, but maybe needs to go to church instead. Yeah, that's what most people are doing around that time, or getting some sleep in at home. Maybe next to their significant other where they're supposed to. I don't know all the details here with York. I won't take too many jabs, Devin, but Devin, yeah, it's news of the offseason, man. It's floating around. Harrison Butker, preseason. Is it just preseason? Or some of these guys playing like superheroes? Kickers are superhuman too, guys. I know that they don't have these bodybuilder type muscles, right? I know that they don't have a box jump 6 feet in the air. Okay, maybe most of those guys aren't going that tall, but some of them. I know they're not 300 pounds running sub 5 40-yard dashes, right? But kickers are psychos. Kickers are crazy. I would love to just see like a kicking workout sometime. What are these guys doing in the weight room? Because they're not the most jacked dudes, but they bring the power. It's that quick twitch, muscle fiber mixed in with a little precision. Harrison Butker, he's a maniac, although he doesn't look like one. He looks like, you and I. Guys, Butker deserves to be remembered. I'm not saying on the level of an Andy Reid, a Patrick Mahomes, a Travis Kelce, or even a Chris Jones. But Harrison Butker deserves to be remembered with this dynasty. Most of you, if you will. Hall of Fame one day. I know Sasha and I were doing the Hall of Fame series. His name came up. I think there's still work to do. He needs a long career. I think he probably needs another Super Bowl. He probably needs to finish up his career with high accuracy. Looking at his numbers, he seems to be elite, especially from 40 yards within, as most guys are. But Butker being so clutch in the postseason cannot go unremembered. And I almost think, hey, are we sort of getting to a time period where there's the technology? These kickers are coming together, I'm sure, in the offseason, discussing techniques. Work is being done in the weight room. Just they're figuring out how to kick the ball farther. And I think for the Chiefs, look, it's kind of a separator. Some teams have a kicker who's good 40 yards, 50 yards away, but anything north of 55, it's maybe not worth the math. Other teams, like a Cam Little with the Jaguars, it's like, okay, if this guy has the capability to maybe hit a 70-yarder, that is a real advantage. That is a huge advantage. I think with the new kickoff rules, which I still am never used to at the start of each season, it's odd to me. These prevent defenses, which I've been complaining about since I was a little kid, like, why are you just letting them march down the field in the fourth quarter at the end of the first half? And then kickers, now, who seem to be able to have the capability to bomb it from half field, right, a half court line in football, the 50-yard mark. That, to me, is a sign that we are heading towards a new spot with kicking in the NFL. And I don't know if it's a good one, guys. It's great for your team, right? You're down. We always think about this, Chiefs fans, 13 seconds. 13 seconds, that's all you need. Well, it may just be 7. It may just be 1 first down now. And I don't think that was how football was designed, right? There is kind of the saying of, you have these massive guys on the field, right? Elite athletes battling it out, 11 on 11. You have brainiacs on the sideline, Donald that plays, players looking to, convert and execute. And at the end of the day, so many games in the NFL come down to one score. And it's often the little 5'11", 175-pound guy trotting onto the field who determines millions and millions of dollars in Vegas pretty much every weekend. Guys, kickers have a lot of power. And I'm not just talking about with their leg. I think this, for the NFL product overall, is still a TBD, still be to be determined, if I can get the saying right. I kind of fear for the future a little bit. Like, how many Cam Littles are we going to see? But if Harrison Butker can start doing this in a real game, I think that's awesome. Of course, you don't risk it from that deep, right? There's the caveat, hey, if we don't make this thing, the other team is going to take field position from right where we missed it. And so I think it's a perfect end-of-half situation, and Butker is a game changer. And now suddenly this changes play calling. I think for Chiefs specifically, Eric Bieniemy, Andy Reid, if you have the kicker who has the leg and you're confident in him, this was 69 yards, 60 plus is more realistic. You are going to start calling plays to where, hey, we want to set ourselves up here in this range, and if we can't get a bomb way down the field, we trust Butker to make one here at the end of a game. So overall, great to see Harrison Butker in the news, delivering a 69-yard field goal. There is one other thing associated with this play that's worth mentioning, and it is John Gruden. John Gruden on the call, doing the commentary, immediately after this kick goes through, he brings something up. Now, there are two sides to this, because there's the argument. Sometimes the commentators spoil the moment a little bit when they're comparing eras, but it is relevant, right? And it maybe deserves to be mentioned at some point. I think it's better for a post-game show or a reaction type show on in your local media, maybe as opposed to the actual color commentary there live. Look, Gruden was saying you can't cover the center now. You can't overload on the line of scrimmage. And had this quote, you can't rush like we used to. I don't think it's entirely fair, but I don't think it's out of bounds and foul. I'll say that. I do think there is a little bit of substance as to why we're seeing these kickers kick at a mile in 2026. And look, say what you want about Butker. His off-the-field drama is way... It's nothing compared to what these owners are getting into, what these coaches are getting into, what Justin Tucker got into. Okay. We'll move off the Kansas City sports for a little bit. But I do want to talk about a former guy from Lawrence in Jalen Daniels and what he did in the preseason There's this ongoing storyline with the player to LSU right from the preseason. Coaches are fired up.
This segment of the Press Box is brought to you by Wichita Clear Bra, the ultimate car care and protection. Online at wichitaclearbra.com.
The Press Box on KGSO.
Saturday on Compass Media Network's coverage of NCAA football. We kick off the 2026 season with the 14th-ranked USC Trojans hosting the San Jose State Spartans. Hi, this is Matt Money Smith. Join Super Bowl winning quarterback Steve Berline and me for all the action as Jaden Maiava and the Trojans host upset-minded Jabari Bates and the Spartans. It's number 14 USC hosting San Jose State. If it's NCAA football, it's right here.
This is Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
Wichita Clear Bra, your quality auto spa.
Window tinting, ceramic coating, paint protection film, vinyl wraps, full wraps, clear, stealth, and color. WichitaClearBra.com.
Wichita Clear Bra, your quality auto spa.
Every school pickup line has a main character. Most days, it's the kids. But once a year, a parent pulls up in a brand new Kia Telluride. And suddenly, all eyes are on Mom.
Is that the new one? I heard it comes in a hybrid now. I heard it has heated seats in all 3 rows.
And for a moment, the kids aren't the only ones in the spotlight. This August, let that parent be you, because Mom deserves to shine too. Or if it's your student's turn to get behind the wheel, find great starter cars like the K4 sedan and K4 hatchback. Plus, you can get 0% financing on brand new Sportage and Sorrento models. And every new Kia is backed by our unbeatable 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Whichever model you choose, we have big savings on great vehicles for that main character energy. Only at Midwest Kia.
We want to see ya in a Midwest Kia.
With approved credit, see dealer for details. Warranties a limited powertrain warranty.
Progressive presents Heroes That Keep Truckers Going. Today's hero, the Rest Up Bathroom Custodian. Is there toilet paper? No. Paper towels? No. Clean stalls? Also no. But the soap dispenser is full, and that counts for something. Thanks, hero. Know what else keeps truckers going? Progressive's expanded cargo protection through their enhanced Cargo Plus coverage. Get a quote at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions. Not available in California.
This is The Herd. The Herd.
You got to be consistent.
With Colin Cowherd.
Mic check. Okay, so if I said there's an NFL team, guess which NFL team was without 20 players who were injured at their practice? You'd be like, Niners. Well, that's what happened yesterday. And it's a lot of old guys. I know football is more than just vibes, but the vibes around the Niners are not good. The coach has a concussion. Ricky Pearsall now out for the year. Again, injuries. They say it's not the local substation. Whatever. They're always hurt. So old, expensive, and brittle has been this team's brand for the last 2 years. I think Kyle Shanahan, to a fault, is very loyal to players, high IQ guys on both sides that are smart enough to get his schemes. He's a little impatient. Therefore, he becomes overly loyal.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Weekdays at 11 a.m. right here on KGSO and on the SC Wichita app. KGSO Studio brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. Find them online at renewalbyanderson.com. This is KGSO. Wichita owned. Wichita proud.
Find a way to cross and you're gonna get there. And I'm on fire today. Ain't no water here to calm or even put me out. I find a better way. Am I crazy or the wind is gonna blow me down? I'm gonna leave it all out there to dry.
Having a blast here with the Press Box on KGSO, your home for local sports. Longest running sports talk station in the ICT. Jacob Zimmerman here with you, and you drive home, drive out, whatever you're doing to start the week. My weekend went by quite fast. Look, Sasha Butker is out today, expecting his return to the show from vacation tomorrow. Here in the Renewal by Anderson studios, Jay-Z rocking out here on a Monday. All right, I had talked a little bit of preseason here to kick off the show. Going to continue that here in just a sec. I want to talk about Jalen Daniels' performance. He actually looked really good. I talked about the Royals today as well. I want to get into some messiness with college sports, too, and some comments from coaches. But before that, let's take this call on the Maximum Outdoor. Come in, phone lines. Appreciate you dialing me up. How's it going, man?
Mr. Jacob J.Z. Zimmerman. What's going on, my brother?
Anthony A-Train Smith. How are you, man?
Man, you talk about creating a firestorm on social media. I've been called everything but a child of God.
Oh. What are you getting after?
Well, you know, I've been kind of hard on the WNBA, and when I say hard, I mean hard as you know, creating.
Not like the hard things they're throwing on the floor, right?
No,
not like those. Yeah.
But man, I've been picked up, body slammed, taken to Suplex City. I felt like I fought Brock Lesnar with all those Caitlin Clark fans when I said she wasn't top 5 in the WNBA.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, she averages 21 points a game, 3rd in the league, 8 assists plus, which is 1st in the league. But you know me, and I know you know, as basketball people, you know, there's also more layers to it than putting up points and filling the stat sheets. I mean, you know, some people went as far as to say, you know, compare it to Steph Curry. Well, if you want to compare it to Steph Curry, well, then Steph Curry's never won a Defensive Player of the Year award either.
Anthony, like when you say there's layers to the WNBA, like, yes, we're thinking about what's going on the floor, but we're thinking, you know, layers as far as who is there in attendance last night at a game, who got kicked out, who's apparently now been banned from the WNBA, the cancer thing. I'm almost surprised. Look, you have Caitlin Clark with a terrific performance, 37 points, 10 assists. She made 8 threes in a basketball game in the WNBA, but that's not the storyline at all when it comes to the W.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, now even Sophie Cunningham, her teammate, who is a reserve, now is taking claim that she's part of the reason that the WNBA is getting a lot of attention. And that's where you really start to peel back the layers, because she's very candid, spoke her mind, but you also have to keep in mind,
right?
Did she really attack Enes Kanter? No, she just stood up for the integrity of women's sports. And there's a big difference. But we live in such a society, such a toxic society, because let's just face it, I'm 59 years old. We watched Magic Johnson and Larry Bird basically resurrect an NBA that was dying, okay? The beauty of it was we had to watch it. We didn't have social media. We didn't have news break apps. We didn't have TikTok. And we didn't have people who felt emboldened and privileged to just say anything that had everything to do with anything but the game, which makes a big difference, which tends to lead to this next question, and maybe you can answer.
Okay.
You are a guy in media as well, too, so y'all probably take some hits upside the head because of the fact that you're a radio personality and you guys are connected to media. What brought all this negative vibe to the W? Is it the league itself that brought it, or did the controversy find the league via media, mainstream media like your major networks, and your social media with people who know they won't even sniff the inside of a radio station, but feel like they're experts? So, or is it 50-50?
Anthony, the reason why the WNBA is so much more popular than what it used to be is because it started to touch on sensitive topics that have been going on now for a little bit of time in society, right? When you have a league that is primarily made up of women who identify as lesbian, right? That's controversial. When they are publicly, supporting the welcoming of, individuals out there who would identify as transgender, that's a whole nother level of getting in the works and, the mainstream taking that and running with it. That has nothing to do with sports. But when you bring up the WNBA, I find it so ironic. It's unfortunate in another angle because, like I mentioned, Caitlin Clark having a terrific performance, one of the best in her career over the weekend. Angel Reese has actually been going off too. I want to give her credit. She's right in line. And yet the conversation with the league has nothing to do with those two really popular players, right? Maybe the bird and the magic of this era of the WNBA. The storyline has nothing to do with them. And I kind of blame the WNBA itself, and that does involve ownership, that does involve Engelberg, or whatever her name is, that involves the players too. I kind of point the finger everywhere and say, you sort of have brought this upon yourselves. It's not the media funneling this in. It's you guys, causing this. So, yeah, the WNBA is the WNBA, Anthony. I'm probably going to want to switch subjects here. Maybe I touch it on the end of the show, but anything else you want to bring up before I get to Daniel's preseason game?
Well, you was talking about some preseason games, and here's one that's probably flying under the radar. So he's probably has cemented himself as a solid backup in Dallas. Joe Milton had a pretty darn good performance over the weekend.
Joe Milton's interesting. I just don't know if we ever really see him outside of like a late season, small sample size due to injury. I don't know, like, outside of Joe Milton being a star on Madden for the youngsters, wanting to get the guy with the highest throw power rating, I guess the preseason is what he's there for.
I mean, basically that's what he's playing. He's playing for the number 2 spot.
Okay,
and that's why I say he put up pretty good stat line because I'm not a delusional Dallas fan, but I hope that maybe with some nice defensive pieces, we have just enough defense to where our offense can carry us on through, at least get us to the NFC Championship playoff game. Because in my estimation, the NFC, I think, is still wide open. I mean, you have to contend with the Rams, and
it's tough.
If
Seattle,
Darnold comes out of retirement,
Detroit.
I mean, but Detroit is still in the post Ben Johnson syndrome. I mean, have they really rebounded from it? And now Jahmyr Gibbs is the feature back. They don't have that 1-2 punch yet running back where, it was a change of pace and you have two guys in your backfield that could both give you 1,000 yards in the same season.
We'll see with Pacheco, but probably not 1K there.
Oh, shit.
Anthony, looks like you just got bit by something, man. I got to go ahead and let you go, man.
Okay.
All right, we'll see you. 522-1410. Wowza. I don't know what just happened to the A train there, but this is what happens when you...
Do it live!
Yeah, you're live. You can't control things. You never know what you're going to hear.
Kobe!
It is Kobe Day. Wow. Good old 8/24. You just think of... Kobe! Yeah, man. Why not? Why not? All right. Going back to the preseason here. Look, with Joe Milton, I don't really care. I'm not a Cowboys fan. Maybe some of you guys are. But when you have a local name, it becomes worth discussing. Jalen Daniels. We haven't forgotten about Jalen Daniels, right? Not Jaden Daniels, of course, who you're bound to mix up with. Jaden Daniels better have number 5 on his back. Jalen Daniels just has a smile on his face. I mean, I've never seen this guy without showing the pearly whites, right? Grinning from ear to ear, quite literally. I mean, this guy, he's just excited to be out there, man. A la Tim Tebow. That excited. That's what it seems. Look, I go back and forth here on the preseason teeter-totter. I'm going to officially dub it that. It's the preseason teeter-totter. Because on one hand, it's the preseason, right? Everyone knows what I mean by when I say it's the preseason. On the other hand, we're talking about tomorrow here We're talking about, valuable backups on depth charts. It's very rare, but we do see late drafted QBs. Even your occasional, final pick of the draft, Brock Purdy, turn their career into something, right? Draft position isn't everything. But Jalen Daniels wasn't a guy, he wasn't a cat where I was thinking, okay, this guy is going to have a real NFL career. Sorry, I just didn't really ponder that. Maybe he's a backup. And it's actually looking like he's going to make this 53-man roster for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And there's actually quite a lot of buzz that he could pass Jake Browning, who's had a couple of nice performances in real games in his career. That Daniels could pass him and be the number 2 behind Baker Mayfield. So this does carry weight in the depth chart. Offensive coordinators, OCs, they like mobile quarterbacks. That's the name of the game now, right? Your pocket QBs, a lot of pre-snap changes. OCs like having the power now. And they want quarterbacks who can, kind of bring the video game to real life, right? You don't have to be quite a Mike Vick, but if you could be serviceable and kind of be a Jaden Daniels out there with the feet, or a Jalen Daniels here in this case for the Bucs. Let's kind of go through some of his throws that we saw here in the preseason. The first, he's on the move, out to the right. He finds an open man on the sideline or in a corner route. Now, I think on TV from the angle, it looked pretty high and outside, but that's where you want to throw the football for that route. You never want a corner route to be short. And you probably don't want it to be late, but it was right on time. It was just a little high, but the receiver open, went up at the apex and got it and got 2 feet down. A nice catch. The NFL is all about slim margins. Put it where the receiver is, not where the corner's at. He then had an RPO run out to the right, following his tight end, picked up 10 yards, showed good speed for a quarterback. He then had an awkward play, and this kind of is on the quarterback, an under-center exchange, looking to hand it off out of the eye, and he just botches the snap, right? He goes right there on the ground, and a lot of times it's a turnover. I won't lie. Maybe a lucky bounce. He scoops it up, runs for 2 yards. 2 yards net, but kind of had made up some of it from behind the line of scrimmage. He did a good job. Most quarterbacks would have just fallen on that football. Daniels had a touchdown pass, guys. This looked pretty good. He rolled out to the right, finds a crossing route, I believe, to the tight end. Kind of put it right where you want it, like around hip to knee range, I would say. Kind of like putting it low in the strike zone as, your weapon has to not completely lay out, but has to sort of dive down away from the tight coverage. And Daniels threw that thing on a sling. He looked confident as ever. Daniels, nice performance. KU quarterback there in the preseason game for the Bucs against the Chiefs. Probably had a good fan base there rooting him on. Maybe that played into this performance just a little bit. He also had a 9-yard scramble up the middle. Later on, he evaded a sack on 3rd down, and that actually led to a game-sealing at 3rd down conversion. Just kind of found a man with backyard football just sitting right in between coverages. So, on one hand, it's like, hey, Jalen Daniels can play. That's cool, right? Jayhawk fans are thinking, maybe this guy makes a few starts at some point over the next couple of years. But at the same time, you're thinking, man, if this guy's actually doing that, I know it's preseason, but preseason is, well, a step above college football and definitely the Big 12. That's what you wanted to see consistently at KU, and you didn't quite get that all the time due to him. Right? Maybe some changes with coordinators, maybe injuries played a big factor, who knows? But if you're missing a guy who's actually able to produce well in a preseason game, I think the drop-off could be quite devastating. And that's kind of what I was hinting at last week, talking about KU, kind of going up and down, looking at last year's stats that stuck out, returning percentage, things like that. KU's going to have their hands full without JD6, or I guess he's now JD10 on the Tampa Bay Bucs. Best of luck. Maybe he's the 2 on the depth chart behind Baker. Baker's relatively durable, but who knows? You never know. All right, I'll see what we have time for here in the final segment of the first hour, but I do know we have a starting quarterback named in Cleveland. People are fed up.
Call the Press Box now on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines at 522-1410.
Press Box on KGSO.
This is The Herd.
He is V8 plus.
With Colin Cowherd.
Now, we know what Mendoza is based on his college career. So the Raiders so far are doing non-Raider things. And I've got to tell you, this Raiders organization has been closer to Cleveland than the Chiefs over the last 20 years. But I like everything they've done with Mendoza.
This is The Herd.
Weekdays at 11 a.m. right here on KGSO and on the SC Wichita app.
Changes in weather can make or break Kansas farms.
It's going to pick up in intensity a little bit overnight tonight.
That affects us all. That's why you need a meteorologist you can trust to give you accurate and up-to-the-minute information each and every day.
I'm Jay Prater. I know how important an accurate forecast is to you. With Cake First Alert Forecast, I'll give you precise conditions in your area, wherever you are in Cakeland.
Trust Jay Prater and Cake First Alert, your weather authority. Cake News, on your side.
Are you in need of a new dentist? Check out 316 Dental at 13th and West Street. 316 Dental is now offering same-day services with the addition of a second dentist. That's right, same day. The hardworking team includes 4 hygienists and stays open late to fit your schedule. 316 Dental accepts most major insurance companies. Ask them about their new patient special that includes a comprehensive exam and x-rays. They also offer implants and Invisalign.
Care that soars above and beyond the 316 Dental.
This is Stu Gatz and Company live.
The audience wants this.
You're listening to Stu Gatz and Company live.
When you guys think of preseason football,
I don't either, but okay. Yes.
There's only one player I think of in the entire history of the NFL when I think of preseason football.
Really?
Wait. Can I guess?
There's one.
You could guess.
Is it LaDainian Tomlinson?
No.
Who is it?
The one player I think of when I think of preseason football, Victor Cruz, because Victor Cruz almost came out of nowhere. That Jets-Giants game.
Yep.
And then after that preseason game, it felt like Victor Cruz went from like a bubble guy coming out of UMass
To a star
in the NFL.
Yes.
Just because of preseason football.
And because of a little salsa dance.
Yes, but he had a moment and he made the most of it. He made the team, right? Changed his life. Yes, that's what Taylor likes. He's a walk-on football player at North Carolina. He likes those stories. True.
Stu Gatz and Company live is right here.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. on KGSO and on the SC Wichita app.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Kansas. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Kansas State High School Activities Association and the Kansas Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
See the latest promotions and special events online at KGSO.com. This is Wichita's sports station.
Oh, yeah. Let's rock your socks off here on KGSO. We'll get back to the sports talk. 522-1410. Appreciate the call from Anthony. If you want to be like him, call a show. What's on your mind in the sports world? Preseason quarterback battles being decided. Going to get into that here in a moment with the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson over Shedeur Sanders. Boy, is that's quite the development. I did want to mention this as well. I know we've sort of already talked a lot about Shocker men's basketball this month and some of the changes that went down with the schedule. You have added, of course, University of Southern California, USC the Trojans. You've also added the Kentucky Wildcats and look, this is a big time deal because this is probably the most like marquee opponent the Shockers have had on their schedule in quite some time. And when you think about the pair of second round exits in the NCAA tournament, the fan base is going to be extra invested in this matchup. And hey, maybe you have a Kenya Giles, maybe you don't, who knows? But I think with our continuity, even above the big-time talents that they're recruiting and a Milan Momcilovic there for Mark Pope, I'm going to give us a puncher's chance, maybe even better than that. But a little bit of details came out today with this story. You figured, hey, maybe it wasn't absolutely for free. We'll take the dough. We'll take it right from your pockets. We'll give it to us, $110,000 guaranteed. I won't lie, I was maybe expecting a little bit more. But this does seem to kind of be in the realm of what's normal. What's normal for a matchup like this? $110,000. It's a guarantee for November 27th at Rupp Arena in Lexington, as they have fully settled on this contract. So I'm reading here in terms of recent payments Kentucky has made for these quote-unquote bye games. Look, it's not bye like, oh, it's our bye week in the NFL. It's not meant to be like, oh, it's a bye game for Kentucky, meaning Wichita State has no chance. I think it's just called a bye, B-U-Y game. Bye opponents at Rupp Arena, $90,000 for Wright State, $95K for Brown, who's going to make a non-con visit over there this season. Wichita State is getting a little bit more, and it's speculated, hey, is it because of having to exit from this other contest you were going to be in with Drake, where you had to pay $50,000, I believe, to get out of that contract. This is going to kind of help make up the difference a little bit, but like $110,000 to the men's basketball team there at Wichita State. It's actually maybe not a ton. All right, quarterback battles. These are juicy, and we are closing in. We are, how close? We are a week and 4 days away from the first Jayhawk football game of the season, and they haven't yet to name a starting quarterback. But the Cleveland Browns finally have. It's Deshaun Watson. It is Deshaun Watson. Oh, no. The Boo Birds coming in from the massage parlors. That's not good. Come on, Jay-Z. I'm getting off track. Deshaun Watson is a starting quarterback once again in 2026. The owner maybe has a say in this conversation. I think the contract certainly does. But the fans, once again, are going to be showing up to the dog pound with a bag over their head. And look, leave it to the fan base who's used to showing up with a bag, brown paper bag, holes cut around the eye slits, right? I don't know what they're going to show up wearing. Honestly, I've got an idea. Wear like a big old trash bag and then put Deshaun Watson on it, right? Put Watson. What's his number? What, number 4 for Cleveland? I don't know because I've barely seen him on the field for the Cleveland Browns. Here's the thing. There's a couple sides to this. There's always a few branches with every story. This is not a good look at all for Shedeur Sanders. You couldn't beat out Deshaun Watson at this stage? It was no business being a starting quarterback in 2026. I'm sorry, 2020 Deshaun Watson is long gone. I mean, we see things happen to players injury-wise. That's one thing. Re-injuring yourself, cool. It almost feels like Deshaun Watson mentally has not recovered from his little incident. Shedeur Sanders, what are you showing coaches? What are you showing Monken? Monken came in probably with a lot of expectation for the fan base. Oh, Monken's going to be the guy that, really sets things in line with the depth chart and gives Shedeur a chance. No, he hasn't been. But my biggest takeaway through all of this, to just stamp it away, what is the upside with Deshaun Watson? You are the Cleveland Browns. You're not like, oh, we've been on some, playoff streak. We want to keep that alive. We want to keep being 500. No. your ceiling is like 6 wins, if that. There is nothing to lose with Shedeur Sanders. Unless your offensive line is the worst in the history of football, you put that man out there. 5th round pick, I don't care. Put him out there instead of Deshaun. Oh, my goodness.
This is Stu Gatz and Company live.
The audience wants this.
You're listening to Stu Gatz and Company live.
Baker Mayfield's whole thing is about having a chip on his shoulder, and he was talking to the media, and he said, everybody's picking against us, probably, to have a losing record, so we'll see when I prove them wrong.
But who is doubting Baker Mayfield? Is he hearing voices? Does he just... No one is saying that.
Stu Gatz and Company live.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. on KGSO and on the SC Wichita app.
Football is here, and we are all excited to celebrate at Quincy's Bar and Grill. Quincy's Bar and Grill is packed full of TVs, so you won't miss any of the action of your favorite team.
Whether it's college or the NFL.
You can catch it all at Quincy's Bar and Grill, the longest-running sports bar and grill in Wichita. While you're there, grab a cold one with friends or grab something to eat from the great Quincy's Bar and Grill menu. Thursday through Sunday, you can catch your favorite football team at Quincy's Bar and Grill, 2047 Northwest Street, and online at quincy'sofwichita.com.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
The best barbecue deal in town is at Hog Wild. Right now, Hog Wild is serving up a $5.99 meal that's big on flavor and easy on your wallet. Get a one-meat sandwich, your favorite classic side, and a drink, all for just $5.99. Want brisket? Upgrade to our tender slow-smoked beef brisket for only $1.50 more. Pulled pork, juicy chicken, and hot links. Everything is smoked fresh, made daily, and piled high. This is real barbecue at a price that's hard to beat. When you want big flavor and a big deal, head to Hog Wild for the $5.99 meal deal today. Great food, great price, great barbecue. Join us for lunch or dinner, or order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 6 locations in Wichita, also in Derby, El Dorado, Hutchinson, and Salina.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. Hog Wild, get some for you. But don't be late, we close at 8.
When a person calls 988, they're connected to a crisis counselor.
Crisis is completely self-defined. If you're wondering if you should call, you should probably call.
A caller can expect to talk about coping skills, talk about resources, and ways to move forward beyond the call.
They can call us, they can chat, they can text, and when they come out on the other side, they're feeling better.
Call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org.
Sponsored by Headquarters Kansas and aired in cooperation with this station.
Having low income can mean making tough choices. Choosing between paying for food or medication or a place to live is a reality for many people. Do you know someone who could use some extra help? Find out about the Supplemental Security Income Program, SSI, administered by Social Security. You could receive monthly SSI payments if your income and financial resources are low and you are 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability or who is blind. SSI is money you can use to help pay for basic needs, like putting food on the table, keeping the lights on, paying the rent. It can mean new shoes for growing feet or help with medical needs. Call 1-800-772-1213 or visit ssa.gov/SSI to schedule an appointment or start to apply today. That's ssa.gov/SSI. This message produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
My teenage son only has one brain, and it'll keep developing through his mid-20s. But if he uses e-cigarettes, the nicotine in them can impact attention, learning, and memory, and can prime the brain for addiction. So I've talked to him about staying away from e-cigarettes, because my son only has one brain.
Learn more at cdc.gov/e-cigarettes today. A message from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and this station.
This is Wichita's sports station, K230BY, 93.9 FM, 1410 AM, and 99.7 HD3. KGSO Belle Plaine, Wichita. Broadcasting live from the KGSO studios in West Wichita.
I feel more informed when I listen.
This is The Press Box on Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
The Press Box on KGSO.
halfway through the press box on KGSO. Thanks for listening. Jacob Zimmerman here in the KGSO studios, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, installation and right on schedule. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Check it out. Drop your comments. Devin with some comments today. Tim, I'm going to read yours here in just a moment. Also, call on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone line. Said someone locked in there during the break. You have dropped 522-1410 if you want to call and weigh in to the discussion. Hour one, we've talked about a lot so far. Some local coverage, Royals 8-game win streak, Harrison Butker's 69-yard field goal that, well, could have went in from a lot deeper. Talking about Jalen Daniels with a great showing here in the preseason as well from the weekend. Shockers, a little bit of financial news, and then, Deshaun Watson and Shadur Sanders. You're welcome to call about any of those things or maybe hour two topics that look a little bit like this. I'm going to talk about my best NFL bets for the season. I'm going to get into like some player props, some team props. You'll kind of understand the vibe as we go through, but we're going to have some fun. Not your traditional week in, week out props or ATS or over-under totals. You understand the gist. We're going to talk maybe about this 49ers owner situation, Jed York getting involved with prostitution. That's exactly right. Kayshon Boutte got traded to the Texans. Maybe we'll circle back around. I didn't get to the topic there with Dan Lanning having some comments. Kiffin, I got some audio queued up on his response to the Daquan Wright signing from the NFL to LSU. Yes, that's right. Now the other way around. We'll have Jason Kinander stop by the show here in about 20 minutes or so. And, I may retouch on Enes Kanter, the WNBA. All right, Tim, you were asking, was that song, the rock song from late first hour, was that a Karate Kid 3 song? I need to catch up with the movies, man. I really do. Tim also asks a sports question. Cleveland. If Cleveland isn't the worst franchise in pro sports, they better hope the worst franchise doesn't fold because they are in the running. I'm trying to think if anyone's worse than the Cleveland Browns. I don't think so. You have a winless season under your belt in recent memory. That's never great. No. What's the biggest success you've had? Like a playoff appearance with Odell Beckham and Baker Mayfield? I think the Jets are probably right there, Tim. If it's not Cleveland, it's the Jets. Jets fans will tell you it's the Jets. Jets, who lose every time. All right. Enough about these bottom feeders in the NFL. Let's talk about some season-long bets that you might have to mark down in your notes, fellas. These are going to be good, but before that, right in the nick of time, I'll bring you on here on the show, on the press box, on KGSO Sports Radio. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
You mentioned Butker, and I know everybody's super excited about
a
69-yard field goal that doesn't count for the regular season. But I'm over Butker. I'm ready to move on. I mean, he made that really long field goal, but then he lost the game later in the game, right? The important kick he missed. And people are really high on him, but if you look at his success rate just last year, he ranked 21st out of all the kickers in the league. He is not a premier kicker anymore, and I think we've got our rose-colored glasses on because of how good he used to be.
In 2023, I got the numbers in front of me. He did go 33 of 35, 94%. But, since then, he's maybe been just about your average kicker. Last year, 50-plus yards, I think, is where you really make your mark at that position. He was 5 of 8, and you need him to come through in the clutch a little bit. I think there's some truth to he has set a standard that's far above the average kicker, and especially he's done it in crunch time. But when you don't live up to that, that's where people come in and complain. My answer would be, especially this close to a season, if not Butker, then who else?
Yeah, I mean, we've got him for this year. That's just how it's going to play out, although there's always free agent kickers for some reason. But I don't think we're going to find better in the free agency this year. I do think, though, it's time to move on when it comes to the offseason next year and find somebody that maybe can't kick it as far, but is a little bit more consistent when it comes down to the clutch.
What draft pick are you willing to spend on that? Are you willing to, fork over a 6th round, maybe even a 5th round pick? It seems like a lot of these guys just go undrafted nowadays, and they just sign for
I'm not high on drafting kickers. It used to be a different story with kickers because you had, some that had just supreme talent and, it was really, really consistent. I think I read that some kicker went like 1st or 2nd round, but you just don't anymore. The science to kicking is so universal. You've actually got a kicker's coach and along with your special teams coordinators and specialists that you didn't really have 20, 30 years ago. And so the difference between one kicker and the next is not as dramatic as maybe what it used to be because the science has been perfected. So I don't believe really in drafting kickers. Like I said earlier, there's seems to be always a good kicker somewhere in free agency, and I think that they could pick somebody up like that.
Before you go, I'll finish off on this. Butker has had his regular season struggles, but in the playoffs for a career from 50-plus, he is 6 of 7, and overall he is 36 of 40. I think Butker would get picked up immediately if he was released by the Chiefs.
No doubt. And some of that, again, comes with the name that, the reputation that he has developed. But sometimes it's like, what have you done for me lately? And in this sport, you've got to be consistent and you've got to be there all the time. It almost feels like he gets really dialed in on those long kicks, those over 50-yard kicks, and just forgets about the shorter ones. He's missed more extra point attempts than any kicker I remember. I don't have numbers on it, but I'd have to guess that he misses more extra points than most of the kickers in the league.
Let's see. Extra points here. It's kind of tough because I think his entire career has been played here in this format. Last year he was 31 of 35. That's anything below 90%. I think in this case for extra points is going to be subpar. The past 2 years though, he was 100% and then 94%. So I need to see maybe 2 years in a row for this fall off with Butker before I get rid of him from the Chiefs. Hey man, I appreciate the call.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Absolutely, you too. Let's bring you in here. 2 calls in a row on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines. How are you, sir?
Hey, JC. We'll stay on the topic.
Let's do it.
What's the longest field goal has he kicked from Kansas City Chiefs? Is that the longest field goal?
I think that's the longest one from Butker. I'm going to see what's the longest regular season kick from Butker. I also want to know, and just refresh my memory on Cam Little's kick. I think Cam Little, his kick was 68. Okay, so that's the record. 69 would have been it if it was the regular season, of course, a preseason contest. Harrison Butker does have a 62-yard field goal. I think the story in this one, Corey, is not just that he made it from 69. It's that he could have made it from 75 plus as far as I'm concerned, but we have some fans who are feeling like the consistency of Mr. Butker is not there.
Yeah, Green Bay's got a good kicker, too. I saw him this past week ago. He kicked a 59-yarder and everything. They've got some good kickers out there, JC. Green Bay's going to keep their kicker because they, a lot of these NFL teams need a kicker, and everything. And Dallas Cowboys has got a good one. I watched him in my summer league, and
Brandon Aubrey.
Some of these teams need.
Best.
He's a good kicker too. We've already had one kicker get in the Hall of Fame. I wonder if we're going to ever have another one, and everything else,
Vinatieri, man. Vinatieri, crack of the jokes a couple weeks back. I think we'll see another. I think what happened with Justin Tucker is unfortunate. I don't know if he gets it now. It's kind of a 50-50, but yes, after him, a lot of these kickers, they don't survive long. They don't last long in one team, and then they bounce around the league. And there's the thought of, do I take this veteran? Do I take a guy who's a rookie, undrafted? And they often lose that fight. So,
do you think? All right, this week is college football season and everything. Well, who you think's the best game this week? What you think would be
the best game in college football? I think we had discussed this a little bit last week as far as these week 0 games. I think it's the Belichick one. I think it's Belichick going at it. I think I'm looking at like your real week 1 games.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of great matchups, to be honest. There's not really ranked. I don't know if I can necessarily give you one, but I think the North Carolina game stuck out to me at the time. At the time,
yeah,
Corey.
me too.
It's you at TCU. Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah, usually 0-1, 0 don't matter, and then the following week is Labor Day games, and there's going to be some ton of good games that week and everything. The first week, and everything else. And the guys from ESPN is going,
NC State, Virginia, ACC matchup, Hawaii, Stanford, that one's a close line, Memphis, UNLV, but some of these big spreads as well. Florida State, New Mexico State, that's not close. USC, who's 14th in the country, and San Jose, that'll be over by halftime. Yeah. So that's a little bit of your weekend slate this coming Saturday. Corey, I appreciate the call, man.
You too, sir.
As always, 522-1410. All right, I've been sitting on this a little bit. I've got some bets to make for this upcoming season. National Football League. Look, I'm excited to bring back my weekly Pick'em series. We're going to change it a little bit this year compared to last. Did 5 picks per week. And I was ever so slightly profitable. Pat on the back, Jay-Z. Let's see if we can do it again in 2026. But I did want to have this little segment because it's fun to do the off-brand kind of selections, the season futures. These aren't maybe quite as popular, but it sets the tone for what I think about a lot of these key players in the league coming up. I'll try to go rapid fire here between now and the end of the segment. All right. I'm starting off with a couple of passing props. And I'm feeling a little optimistic. A little generous today for most of these. They say you win dough in the under. I say no to that this time for most of these. All right, Caleb Williams over 3,649 passing yards. So he's got to drop 3,650. I'm seeing that as -20. I'm seeing that with money in my eyes, guys. Caleb Williams, I think he does it. I think he gets to 4,000 yards this season. I think he's legit. This guy for years now has been a very talented passer. I think they put it together. Ben Johnson, man. You could say a lot of great things about Ben Johnson. Luther Burden's supposed to take up a step this season. Caleb Williams, book it. 4,000 yards. He's just got to go over 3,650. Out of all the QB passing props, I think I liked his the best. And you know what? Patrick Mahomes, I'm looking at you too. You got the same number, 3,649.5 for the entire season. I don't think you're going to be dinged up. You're going to cruise into week 1, although they haven't made it official. You're going to cruise into week 1, score it off against the Broncos, and you're at least going to look serviceable. And the rest of the season, you're going to put up some numbers. Look, I don't want to doubt history. I'm not going to be on the wrong side of history here with Mahomes. He's going over. I'm seeing -110 on his passing prop. I like it. All right. I do have an under here with a quarterback. I'm looking at passing touchdowns. Season-long future prop. And I'm going under 12.5 for Fernando Mendoza. Guys, remember the days where quarterbacks, if they were good, they just automatically, boom, 30 passing touchdowns in the season and maybe 10 picks? That's not the NFL anymore. In the red zone, coordinators are scared to throw an interception. Running backs are just getting feasted the ball. And honestly, it just seems the back of the end zone is a 12th defender. We are in an era where, some of your favorite quarterbacks are only projected 23, 24 touchdowns this upcoming season. That number feels cut in damn near half from what it used to be. Fernando Mendoza, I think you're going to start maybe 10 games max this season. And honestly, it's like a touchdown a pop is the going rate. 1 touchdown per game. I think you're probably under 12.5 games played. And for that, I have you under your season passing touchdowns prop, Fernando Mendoza. Sorry. Here's a fun one. Let's go to the running backs. I've got a top 2 fantasy selection coming up this weekend. It's pretty much Bijan or Jameer. Let's talk about Jameer Gibbs. There is a world where he has 2,500 scrimmage yards this season with a bigger role. We'll see if there's a backup at play, a nice RB2 and Pacheco, but I think with Montgomery out there, I think Gibbs goes over his rushing season prop of 1,199.5 yards. 1,200. Can he get there? 1,200. Yes, in my book, Jameer Gibbs will do it. Another rushing prop, but it's with a quarterback. Death Wish Dart. Jackson Dart. I'm going under 449 yards of rushing. He just had slightly over that his rookie campaign. I've looked at a lot of Pro Football Reference pages. It's often the rookie season these guys top out. And then their coach and especially their owner says, hey, knock it off. Stay in the pocket. Don't cross the line of scrimmage. Throw it out of bounds. Or how about you just run out of bounds? This is the games played thing here. I don't think Jackson Dart plays a full season. I think Cam Scatterbu has a better chance of playing a full season. I said it. We're going Dart under 449 rushing yards total on the year. What's that per game? Do the math. Ruben Bain. We're going to the defense here. Rare defensive prop for the season. NFL. Ruben Bain, I believe the hype. I saw him at Miami. I'm not freaking out over the arm length and all the jokes online about his hairline and just caring about football. This guy has some aura to him. We'll say that. Over 6.25. Okay, he just has to get 6.5 sacks. It's slightly favored, and I'm more than slightly liking it. Ruben Bain, I think he gets to 7+ for the Bucs. I got a couple of fun ones, some unconventional ones with Derrick Henry. Dubbed the last king. Derrick Henry, I think it's the last 3-down power running back who could consistently get you 1,500 yards in a season. I think he may be the last of his prototype. I have an option for you. You can go Derrick Henry any game this season to have 200 yards. He just dropped 216 and 4 tutties late last season against Green Bay. That's plus 425. Derrick Henry, 200-yard game this season. Or to be the very next rusher, basically the first this season to have 150 rush yards in a single game. I think he could do it in the first 3 weeks of the season. Give me Derrick Henry at that mark, plus 650. Looking at some Facebook comments here. Devin with some responses to Tim. Tim was saying that the Browns are the worst franchise. Devin might be the only franchise that the starting quarterbacks competition would be third string on any other team. It's getting hot and heavy. Think about the man, the myth, the legend. He just want to put Cleveland on the map. Jokes about massage parlors. Yeah, they're coming in. Today's a great day for it. Jed York. Let's go to the receivers. Puka. I think Puka leads the league in yards this season. I think he does it. I don't think he's going to get a suspension. Health is a concern with him, yes. But my money would be on him above anybody else. Plus 550, the favorite. All right, a couple team props here. These are going to be hand in hand with my comprehensive coverage selections. And these three teams, I believe my record prediction was the farthest away from their regular season win total. So by default, I'm liking the Panthers over 7.5. That's actually plus money. I'm liking Houston. This was the biggest differential. I picked Houston winning 13 games this year. Their over-under is very juiced, but it's 9.5. I would buy it up to plus money at 10.5 and feel good with that. Houston to be the 1 seed is plus 850, by the way. And then you got Jaden Daniels over 7.5. I like it, man. I like it. I think the Commanders are going to be interesting. They are missing some bodies at receiver, though. I can't lie. But to get to 8 wins, I think you can do it. They also have some cool props out there. You can like bet one team to win more than the other. So I was going through like, okay, Houston to have more wins than the Chargers, maybe Packers, Cowboys, some interesting things there. But my final season-long bet I may consider placing $1 on. This one's pretty absurd. It's the next player to have 3 receiving touchdowns in a season. And that's rare, guys. You hardly see that. Is it a Jamar Chase I'm talking about? Is it a Puka Nacua? I'm actually going with Jahmyr Gibbs. Think about it, guys. He catches a lot of the backfield. He's a touchdown merchant. As many games played as touchdowns scored in his career. Jahmyr Gibbs is plus 20,000 to be the next man to drop 3 receiving touchdowns in a single game. That means $10 would win you $2,000. I think that's who I would take when it comes to that. All right, Jason Kinander, he is next up from WABW. We'll ask him about some of these Royals, Chiefs, preseason storylines. Maybe get his favorite bet for the upcoming year. College drama. Are they eligible? Are they not? I think we're just going to find out mid-season. Yeah. Mid-season. You got to go, buddy. The courts have ruled this. Playoff time. The courts have ruled that. You're back. It's a nightmare. It's an eye roll. I don't blame you guys. We'll be back.
This segment of the Press Box is brought to you by Wichita Clear Bra, the ultimate car care and protection. Online at wichitaclearbra.com.
The Press Box on KGSO.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington.
I told you, Shedeur Sanders would not be the starting quarterback. If he had proven himself, shown to them that he was the future, they would have told Deshaun Watson, kick rocks, but they couldn't do it.
This is The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington.
Evenings on KGSO. And find KGSO on the SC Wichita app.
Are you in need of a new dentist? Check out 316 Dental at 13th and West Street. 316 Dental is now offering same-day services with the addition of a second dentist. That's right, same day. The hardworking team includes 4 hygienists and stays open late to fit your schedule. 316 Dental accepts most major insurance companies. Ask them about their new patient special that includes a comprehensive exam and x-rays. They also offer implants and Invisalign.
That soars above and beyond the 316 Dental.
Warmer weather is finally here, and that means cookouts,
ball games,
and maybe enjoying some time on the water.
But it also means lots of heavy food, sweets, and maybe an extra adult beverage or two. Thank goodness we both take Active Liver from New Nordic. Did you know your liver works around the clock processing food, sugar, alcohol, and everyday toxins? All the things that can really impact your health.
That's why daily support matters. Active Liver is designed to protect normal liver function and support your body's natural detox process.
With trusted natural natural ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and artichoke extract, it's gentle enough to take all year long.
No harsh cleanses, no extreme detoxes, just simple daily liver support. We really feel the difference.
Active Liver helps us enjoy the good things in life with peace of mind that our liver isn't working overtime. Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com, and you can find it in stores at CVS, Meijer Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GNC.
Where'd you get that grin? Right above your chin. You know the place. Puts a smile on your face, and he's the one. Frozen custard fun. Made fresh every hour. It's your happy power. Top your day. With a smile at Andy's.
Did you know my frozen custard is made fresh every hour? Or that our toppings are baked daily right in our stores? It's how we top your day with a smile at Andy's.
Wichita's sports leader, KGSO, is brought to you by Devon James. Devon James Injury Lawyers. Call 888-8888.
That's 888-8888.
The world may be crazy these days, but your safe space from the chaos is right here on Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
It's time for one of my favorite segments of the week. Here on a Monday, second hour, 5:30, we bring on the man himself from WIBW. He is Jason Kinander here on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines. Jason, how are you?
Jacob, happy to be on, man. Lots to talk about this Monday.
Let's go. I agree. I've kind of had the rundown loaded and haven't even got to about half of what is up here so far. So I'm in a good mood. Let's keep the vibes strong. I want to go to Kansas City because that's kind of where the show started off. And look, let's start with a little football here. We're going to give the Royals their respect here in just a moment. But preseason chatter. We had a call from earlier in the show, and I did basically a full segment on Harrison Butker. But like a brief debate, I think, from the public is going on right now with Butker. Because, look, you make a kick like this in the preseason, 69 yards, that's a bomb. That's quite a boot. Regular season, that's the new record. The ball was in the 50. That thing could have went in from 75 plus as far as I'm concerned, but I believe Butker missed another kick late in that game from mediocre range and couldn't hit it. I think Chiefs fans are starting to feel the frustration a little bit with Butker, and they're looking around the landscape and thinking, can we get someone better? What are your thoughts right now with Butker being the kicker still in Kansas City?
Yeah, strange game on Saturday for him. Really strange, to hit a 69 goal. That would have been good for 75 yards. I mean, that thing was absolutely blasted. To hit that field goal and then miss two kicks that define the game. I mean, it's preseason, so you don't really care about the outcome, but it's more about the principle. And, when a guy's been around that long and he's losing you games, it's frustrating, and it definitely raises some eyebrows. But it's tough because you can't cut him after he just hit that kick. Not that he was, on the table of being cut anyway. They don't have anyone else in camp. So,
right.
He's going to be the kicker this year. He's been a big part of their championship teams for a reason. He's obviously a very valuable leader to them in the locker room as well. And so you hope that he can figure it out from a consistency standpoint, especially on these PATs or these shorter field goal attempts. because he has it on lock, from 55 plus, seemingly. And so you just hope that he can kind of get that field goal percentage a little bit closer to 90%. He hasn't been there in a few years. So if he can get as close to that clip as possible, it'll be a successful season. But he's locked in to be the kicker. They don't have any competition in camp, so it's definitely going to be him.
Now, in that game, I think the biggest storyline, biggest takeaway is not even the field goal made in the state of Kansas. It's what the former Kansas Jayhawk quarterback did. Jalen Daniels had a pretty good outing, and there's been some chatter online. Like, did Daniels play good enough to maybe pass a Jake Browning, who's showed out in a couple of real NFL games in the past before for the number 2 spot there in Tampa behind Baker Mayfield? Look, I kind of went play-by-play and just sort of looked at all the highlights, and the guy, showed his legs. He showed his accuracy on a touchdown throw. I didn't really think that we would, see Jalen Daniels have much of an NFL career, but so far, so good.
And it's really, really awesome that this is happening to him, because anybody who's covered Jalen, talked to him, spent time around him, knows how great of a guy he is.
Right.
He's just a Hall of Fame good person. And so for him to get this opportunity and make the most of it, and all these good things coming to him now, he really does deserve it. And that's something that I don't say often about people, athletes who I've covered. He is really one of the good guys. And so it's cool seeing him have the success. He's in the driver's seat to, at the very least, make their roster. I would probably give him the edge over Jake Browning for that backup spot, just because he seems to have the backing of the locker room right now, and that is super important, because the number one aspect that you need on lock from that backup quarterback is trust. And it seems like that locker room already really trusts Jalen Daniels. And he seems to understand, NFL play calling and cadences and motions and audibles and adjustments to the line of scrimmage. He's got all that stuff so much more in tune than he did when he was at Kansas. And he admitted that post-game on Saturday. And so he's finally putting it all together.
Right.
Those who watched him at KU saw those flashes of brilliance, and he never put it all together for a full season, or really for more than a couple of games in a row. But it's exciting to see him do it now, and for him to get this opportunity and make the most of it is exciting for KU fans. It's exciting for those of us who covered him. And it's got to be exciting for Bucs fans, too, because Baker Mayfield isn't the most durable quarterback. Now they've got a little upside in that quarterback room in case he goes down.
Jason Kinander calling in from WIBW up there in a windy Topeka scene. Jalen Daniels, this is a guy who, like some of the fan base, was very frustrated at him for some time at KU and kind of felt like, is Jalen Daniels the one holding us back? I think it's kind of the opposite here. And if he goes on to have like a real NFL career, I think there's a big question mark, like as far as what KU and their quarterback spot is going to look like in his absence. And you kind of say, hey, he's a great guy behind closed doors. He's always got a huge smile on his face any time he's doing public media. So awesome to see the former Jayhawk quarterback showing out there in the preseason. I do want to ask you here about a conversation going on Facebook. It is Deshaun Watson being the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. And I was saying on air, there's not much of an upside with starting Watson over Shedeur. Your ceiling, your hopes for the Browns are not like a normal franchise would be of making the postseason. But Devin, I want to respond here to your point individually first. And you are arguing that the Browns could fix all their problems by making one decision and walking away from him. You are acknowledging it as a $86.2 million cap hit. They're not going to do it. It would be, it already is one of the worst contracts in the history of sports. So, Jason, I'll kind of allow you to respond to that. And what's your reaction to Shedeur Sanders being the backup?
I'm probably not as surprised as everyone else, just because two reasons. Well, one, if you name Shedeur the starter and then bench him, you can never go back to Shedeur. Like, his confidence will be shot. He's got to move on, probably trade him for maybe a 7th rounder, or you cut him, whatever. You can't do that at the start of the season because then you've already burned one of your quarterbacks for the year. So Watson's much easier to bench in that sense. It's the easiest way to put it. The other thing is, if they were to cut Deshaun Watson, they would owe him his entire contract, be a $50 million dead cap hit for next season. And that would restrict their preseason, that would restrict their off-season, that would restrict everything. The last couple of years has went into for the Cleveland Browns. They have some good players who are going to be hitting the second, third year of their rookie contracts, and they can't afford that $50 million dead cap hit to be sitting there in what figures to be a pretty critical year for that young core. So I wasn't too surprised by it. I thought Deshaun Watson was almost trying to get cut or, trying to be out of a job because what's in it for him at this point? Why stand in there and keep taking hits figuratively and literally, when no one likes you anyways and you're bad at football and you've already made 9 figures, may as well just sit at home and out of the public eye. And so I kind of thought he was purposely trying to get cut, and then he won that quarterback job, and so we'll see what happens. But I wasn't too surprised that he ended up winning it just because the Browns didn't have much of a choice. And it's going to be a total train wreck. I think we all know that.
I agree with like 90% of what you said. I do disagree with one thing. I don't think Shedeur Sanders. There's nothing in Shedeur. There's nothing that could happen to Shedeur that could actually mess with his confidence. Like, this guy is so delusionally confident that like he could go out there and throw 5 picks in a single half, and I think he's going to still walk into that locker room with a big old smile on his face, playing his one song, perfect timing. Like, that seems to be Shedeur Sanders to me. But the Browns are the Browns, and having a debate about the worst team in the NFL at some points is kind of pointless. But let's go to Kansas City. Some people are maybe also calling this pointless, but it is an 8-game win streak from the Kansas City Royals. I don't think it's like a spark for a wild card push, but unfortunately, same song and dance, the drum has been beaten to a pulp here with, hey, well, at least, we're putting together a bright week for the future, and we got some young pieces involved. Like, it seems to be an ongoing trend year in, year out, but hey, 8 wins in a row. It's the Athletics. It's the Tigers. It's one against the Angels. You get the Blue Jays coming up.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's 3 really bad teams.
Oh.
It's not like they just went and swept the Yankees and then the Rays and then the Dodgers. These are teams that are still better than, even though they were having a bad year. Like, Detroit, I guess, is the exception, but Detroit's been playing bad baseball for 2 weeks now. I almost wondered, when this was happening this past week, I almost wondered, if this might end up being a bad thing for the Royals. One, because, they're technically not out of the playoff race, but we all know they're not going to make the playoffs. And so by winning these games, obviously, they're hurting their lottery odds, whatever. I don't think that stuff matters too much in baseball because it's not like, football or basketball where you can get a franchise-changing guy and, in a 3 years' time, it's this miraculous turnaround. I don't think that the Royals should be missing out on any sort of talent like that. But I think the bigger concern is, what if they play good enough in the second half for the entire coaching staff to stick around and they bring back basically the entire team and run back this group that wasn't good last year, was really not good this year, has maybe put together 2.5 to 3 good months of baseball out of the last 2 calendar years. But if they continue to play this well and say they only miss the playoffs by 5 or 6 games, Couturo's got a good bet to come back then. So I almost wonder if this past week of winning 8 games in a row that will end up being pretty meaningless, 5-6 weeks from now, might end up being a bad thing because the only thing that can come out of it is that this core of veterans and this bad coaching staff comes back for another run.
I was not thinking that way, and that seems to be a logical thought process there, Jason. Sometimes even the positive could be a big picture net negative.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. Before we get out of here with you, let me ask you about this. Kayshon Boutte was traded today. from New England to Houston. He is going from one contender to another. Don't get me wrong, but this close to the season had me a little surprised. You're getting a starting safety back, I believe, in return. Where does this move necessarily come from, and does it change your optics on how either team does this year?
Definitely not the Patriots. I mean, he was just depth in a pretty good wide receiver room. I mean, they added over him this offseason. They added Romeo Doubs. I guess A.J. Brown was a direct Stephon Diggs replacement, but adding Romeo Doubs, was probably a signifier to Kayshon Boutte that he wasn't going to get the ball a whole lot this year. And so he had apparently asked for a trade. That, aspect of him on the move isn't too surprising to me, especially to Houston with the Jaden Higgins injury. They're in need of somebody who kind of fits that wide receiver 3 mold, which Boutte excelled in last year in New England. And so I think it's going to be a good trade for both sides, probably more beneficial to Houston, but definitely doesn't take a whole lot away from New England. I think that it just fills a hole that came up within the last 10 days for the Texans, and they did a nice job of filling it.
Jason, one other thing I'll ask you about before we get out of here. I kind of went through last segment and sort of just went up and down the sports books. I was looking at some of my favorite player props heading into the season. Do you have any sneaky good bets you like heading into the year, or do you want to maybe hear some of my favorites? Up to you.
Let me give you a couple of college football bets.
Let's go.
I really like in terms of futures. I'm big on Ole Miss under 8.5 wins. I think that they're going to take a big step back. Yeah, I think they're going to take a big step back. I've got Boise State to make the Pac-12 championship game. I've got Houston to make the Big 12 championship game.
Okay.
And then I've got TCU over 6.5 wins. I'm kind of adding to that a little bit between now and next week, but that's what I'm working with for right now.
So what is it about the Houston Cougars that is really interesting? Because I remember them last season, they were tough out, but I didn't maybe see them going from tough out to a ranked college football team here at this point. I guess Connor Weigman's sort of the truth. What's going on here with the Cougars?
I mean, they have an extremely talented roster, right? You got Connor Weigman at quarterback, but Mekhi Hughes, a transfer from Oregon, coming in at running back, kind of a bounce-back sort of situation for him after he was really good at Tulane and then really not with the Ducks. I think he's going to have a lot to prove this year. They have an awesome wide receiver. I mean, Amari Thomas is one of the more underrated wide receivers in the Big 12 Conference. They added Trent Walker, the guy from Oregon State, who I thought was one of the better group of 6 receivers last year. And then the defense returns a ton of talent. They return a lot of talent on the secondary and the linebacker room. And I think very highly of Willie Fritz. Willie Fritz is a fantastic coach. This is his 3rd year now at Houston, so that's sort of when you start to look at these guys. Their recruits are on the field. Their first signing class are now sophomores and juniors, and so they're starting to be the key contributors on these teams, and so you actually get a sense for how good of a hire the school made, and I think they hit a home run with Willie Fritz. So it's also a good schedule for Houston this year. They just have to beat either Texas Tech or Utah on the road. Obviously a lot easier said than done, but they have the talent to do it, and if they do it, I will be looking at everyone with a little more money in my pocket.
Well, he is always hitting a home run with these radio hits. He is Jason Kinander. Get out and follow Kinander from WABW on social platforms. Are you going to be attending anything this week?
Nah, just getting ready for football season. Headed out to our high schools. We're going to keep doing our previews. Got another 2 weeks of that.
That's awesome. Jason, you're the man. I'm excited for the upcoming season. Have a good weekend, dude.
Thanks, man. You too.
I'll see ya. I say good weekend because I talk with Jason on Monday, so it's the last time before... Yeah, you understand how this works. Anyway, tomorrow we'll talk with Michaela. We got one more segment, though, the Press Box. Stay in your seat.
Call the Press Box now on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines at 522-1410.
The Press Box on KGSO.
Want to hear more of KGSO? Don't forget to download our app today. Fill out weekly surveys, register to win great prizes, listen live, message our shows, and so much more. Plus, get reminders of special programming and games you don't want to miss. Just find SC Wichita in your app store and make KGSO your new favorite app. It's Wichita's Sports Talk, right on your phone. Download the SC Wichita app today with Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
Phil's Coins and Bullion, Kansas's premier bullion dealer.
Do you need to get rid of some jewelry? Don't waste any time and stop by Phil's Coins and Bullion today. Phil's Coins will give you top dollar for any of your unwanted jewelry. Whether it's gold or silver, get the most out of the unwanted jewelry in your drawer and do it with Phil's Coins and Bullion, 9344 West Central Avenue.
Phil's Coins and Bullion, philscoins.com.
Are you in need of a new dentist? Check out 316 Dental at 13th and West Street. 316 Dental is now offering same-day services with the addition of a second dentist. That's right, same day. The hardworking team includes 4 hygienists and stays open late to fit your schedule. 316 Dental accepts most major insurance companies. Ask them about their new patient special that includes a comprehensive exam and x-rays. They also offer implants and Invisalign.
That soars above and beyond the 316 Dental.
Looking for a new-to-you ride? For over 70 years, customers have trusted Rusty Egg Ford with quality vehicles and exceptional service. We have 500 used cars available with 150 Ford Blue Advantage certified. From fuel-efficient cars to tough trucks and versatile SUVs, you'll find quality, value, and selection all in one place. That's peace of mind with every mile. Buy with confidence at Rusty Egg Ford. Visit rustyeggford.com. Family-owned and simply the best place to buy. See dealer for details.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kathleen Eubanks-Ming with the American Academy of Family Physicians. Bullies use power, strength, or popularity to hurt others emotionally or physically. And while you can't be with your child all the time, there are ways you can help. If your child encounters a bully, tell them to get to a safe place and tell an adult. You can also show them how to block online bullies. Teach them they can be more than a bystander and that they can help their peers. For more on bullying, visit familydoctor.org or talk with your family physician.
So what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Keep sports talk trendy. This is Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
We're up all night to get lucky. 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 We're up all night to get. 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 We're up all night to get lucky. 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 We're up all night to get lucky.
Just when you think this show is terrible, something wonderful happens.
What?
It ends.
This show hasn't been terrible. It's been going strong. It's been a great show. Ain't that right, Jerome?
These dudes do not deserve to wear this uniform.
That's right. You totally agreed with what I said. Oh, guys, if you want to talk to me before the show has been put to bed, you got 5 minutes. 5.5 minutes. 522-1410. I got maybe rapid fire across a couple different topics that I can hit on. Oh, but speaking of what's fire.
Taco Tico, it's all about the taste.
Look, we tell you, you've got to listen. Taco Tico. Check them out. Bean and cheese burrito, 2 for $3. That's quite the deal. There's not a lot you can get with $3 today. Taco Tico's got you covered. How about $2.79 for a 3-pound meat and cheese burrito? 13th and Tyler, 35th and Rock Road, Arc City, Newton, El Dorado, Derby, Augusta. Online orders, they've got you covered. TacoTico.us, where it's all about the taste. Yeah, Sasha's not in the house today. He'll be back likely tomorrow. All right. Oh my goodness. What's going on in the WNBA? I'll talk about this just for a minute here. There's a lot of what the kind of segments, kind of topics today. Jed York, I'm looking at you, man, but we'll start here with Enes Kanter. Guys, keep in mind this whole time, Enes Kanter's doing this. It's to make fun of the WNBA. So, of course, fans who are actually fans of the WNBA are going to be, scolding and flipping off Kanter on his way into the arena, and they were probably, throwing things out. I don't know. But that crowd was not happy for Kanter to be there. I do know that Natasha Cloud from Chicago was not happy for Kanter to be there to watch that game. And if you didn't hear, Enes Kanter showed up at a WNBA game himself. And as far as I'm concerned, Enes Kanter was just looking around and seeing, hey, the future talent I'm playing alongside. He just wanted to do a little self-scouting, that's all. And he showed up with a T-shirt that said woman, noun, adult, human, female. Yeah, there's a debate on what's really a woman nowadays, guys. I'll say this. Everyone's going to have their fun with the WNBA. I'm young, but I'm not that young. It was literally in our class back in middle school, high school, where we were doing presentations on mental illnesses. And one of my classmates did theirs on gender identity dysphoria. I did mine on basically what is now known as furries, right? These were assigned to us, basically. And so the society has changed a lot, even since I've been in grade school, and yeah, it's infiltrated the sports world. All right, next subject, Lane Kiffin. I'm probably running short on time. I'm not going to play this little 60-second audio piece. You maybe have heard it, but I kind of understand where Lane Kiffin is coming from a little bit. If you hear his answer, it actually makes sense. Kind of a kill or be killed mentality. Look, if you don't get Daquan right, then someone else is going to get him. But the fact that it's LSU, the fact that it's Lane Kiffin, especially, I think it's rubbing people the wrong way. Now, can you really blame the colleges for trying to win? I can't. Can you blame the players for wanting to try to play maybe more football and make more money? I don't know if I actually can. Can you blame the judges? That's a question mark. But this all points back like rivers to an ocean. The NCAA, you came down with this in the offseason in June. It was after the season was done, and so maybe that's a fair spot to do it. But really the best time to come down with a 5x5 would have been right at the start of a calendar year. Right at the start. And so it's too late for anyone, who's still floating around and come back and get in class. And that's how you could have pulled it off. But the 5x5, the court battles, they've been a doozy. The reason this is resurfacing, you had Kiffin take the podium today, and Dan Lanning put the foot down as he is strongly against this as well. Kind of a lot of statements that you can guess. He's once in the NFL, you stay there type of a beat. Roster crunch and just being fair. If you bring someone in, you add an egg into the basket's full, someone's got to get let go. And, yeah, I don't think it's a good look. I don't think it's a good look at all. Speaking of bad looks, Jed York. Jed York, man. I think, there's a couple details that are out, but the San Francisco 49ers owner was involved in some not-so-good stuff. Oh, my goodness. Prostitution. Apparently he found a website. Paid $140. Sorry, I'm overshooting your expenses there. $140, Mr. Jed York. You were an NFL owner. And you met up with this woman, I guess, at some trailer park. That was what was told to me over the radio. Not a good look. Not a good look at all. We're getting a call. I'm sorry I don't have any time to bring you in. Music's playing. Wrapping up. Odd Couple. You could maybe call the Odd Couple. They say they're the most national, listener-friendly Fox sports show ever. So listen to them. We are Fox Sports here in Wichita. KGSO. Jay-Z riding solo today. That's going to do it for me. Sasha Bushka will be back. Chubb retired. Shaden Sharp's out 6 months. Canner. Jed York. You should have just done it the Patriot way, man. You didn't have to go that route. That's the show. Goodbye. Good night.
This is The Herd.
He is V8 Plus.
With Colin Cowherd.
Now, we have a massive MVP debate.